Shatari Bhutairmahadviryaima Purovitu Nirmaya Shete Yatamushu Purusha Bhunte Gunan Shodashatmaka Solankasishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satata Pibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. It's a wonderful day in Kartik. Today is special. It's Ekadashi. So for devotees especially, this is very important. It is a day of celebration because Ekadashi is very dear to Lord Krishna. In Mahabharata, Krishna himself says that there are 4 things that purify. First, Shuddham Bhagavata Tasyanam, the prasadam that a devotee honors, and after that devotee honors that we honor, then that is very purifying. Shuddham Bhagirathi Jalam. The second thing which purifies is the Ganges water. Little bit Ganges water we are purified. And of course, Ganges water is no different from Bhagavad Gita. So in one sense, Bhagavad Gita is described as Ganges water as well. It flows down from the spiritual world. Thirdly, Shuddham Vishnu Padadhyanam. The third thing that purifies is meditation on the lotus feet of Krishna or Vishnu. And the fourth thing, Shuddham Ekadashi Vratam. The Ekadashi Vrata that we do is very purifying. Of course, the most important thing about Ekadashi is not just fasting. Fasting is one aspect of it, but the main essence of Ekadashi is to stay close to Krishna by chanting his names, by hearing his pastimes. So let's continue our Srimad Bhagavatam discussions on Damodar pastime. Yesterday, we were looking at the comparative study of how Mother Yashoda's position is very exalted. And if you look at the chat, I have put some links in there. And since it's Ekadashi also, it's a nice lecture by Srila Prabhupada you can read. And I've put in the verse by Vilvamangal Thakur glorifying pure devotional service. And he specifically there mentions how pure devotional service even defies liberation and the 4 Chatur Purusharthas, which are karma, desires, economic development, getting money, and dharma, artha, the ritualistic, or you can say mundane religiosity, and ultimately even liberation is defined. Very nicely Bilvamangal Thakur says, Bhaktistvaye sthirayata bhagavan yadisya devena yat palati divya kishora murti. You know, if devotional service, pure devotional service unto Lord Shri Krishna is established, then by providence, what is the result? Palayati, the phala of that pure devotional service is Devena Yat Palayati Devya Kishora Murti. We are able to see the Devya Kishore, divine, ever youthful form of Krishna face to face. And Muktim Swayam Mukulutanjali Sevyate Sma, and liberation personified with folded hands, Mukulutanjali, is waiting to save such a devotee. And what to speak of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, economic development, liberation, religiosity, and wealth. It is standing at the devotee's doorstep, samaya pratiksha, and it is waiting for the devotee to look at them so that they can save the devotee. But however, devotee is only interested in looking at Divya Kishore Murti and the form of Krishna. Devotee doesn't want to see anything else. But that is not to say all these other things are not available to the devotee. They are available to the devotee to the greatest extent possible. So let there be no doubt, Prabhus and Matajis, that devotional service is inferior. Devotional service would mean we'll be poverty stricken. Not at all. However, if our affection is in material objects, and that is a stumbling block to devotional service, then Krishna, out of his special mercy, will take these things so that we become attached to him. But even when we become attached to him, devotional service is the greatest wealth of the pure devotee. Let's continue with the next verse, text number 21. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nayam Sukha Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sutaha Nani Nam Chatma Bhutanam Yatha Bhakti Matamiha. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to devotees engaged in spontaneous, loving service, but he is not easily accessible to mental speculators. To those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Yes, Prabhuji, can I read?
Please, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda, is very easily available to devotees, but not to tapasvis, yogis, jnanis, and others who have a bodily concept of life. Although they may be sometimes be called Santa Bhaktas, real bhakti begins with Dasya Rasa. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.
Thank you. If we'll just comment on that, and then you can continue reading.
Sure.
So, we understand that the real devotional service, as Krishna has mentioned here, begins with Dasya Rasa. So we know that there are 5 rasas. The first one of those is the Shanta Rasa. So basically, Shanta Rasa means that when we see anyone doing devotional service, or when we come to know of Krishna, we are in appreciative mood. But however, if that appreciation is genuine, then that appreciation will ultimately lead to service. And by serving in a sincere mood, if that service is genuine and sincere, then it will further progress to a mood of sakhya, serving in friendship. And when we are serving in friendship, we become close to Krishna. Then what happens? We become protective of Krishna. Like Mother Yashoda is protective of Krishna, Balram is protective of Krishna. So in a similar way, the devotee cares about Krishna. Oh my Lord, he's hungry, he hasn't eaten. And this is called Vatsalya, or devotion in mood of paternity or maternity. And then we develop intimate connection with Krishna, and that is ultimately called conjugal. So how long we will stay on the platform of just shanta, just appreciation? Actually, appreciation is good, but we should quickly progress, if our appreciation is sincere, to try as much to do service. Therefore, Prabhupada terms bhakti as devotional service. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Please continue.
Yes, sure. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Ye yata mam prapadyante tam thaiva Pajami aham mama varman nute vartante manushya partha sarvasa. As living entities surrender unto me, I devote them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pratha. Everyone is seeking Krishna, for he is the supersoul of all individual souls. Everyone loves his body and wants to protect it because he is within the body as the soul. And everyone loves the soul because the soul is part and parcel of the supersoul. Therefore, everyone is actually seeking to achieve happiness by reviving his relationship with the supersoul. As Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Vedascha sarver aham eva vedya. By all the Vedas, it is I who am to be known. Therefore, the karmis, jnanis, yogis, and saintly persons are all seeking Krishna. But by following in the footstep of devotees who are in a direct relationship with Krishna, especially the inhabitants of Vrindavana, one can reach the supreme position of associating with Krishna. As it is said, Vrindavan parijatya padam ekam na gacchati. Krishna does not leave Vrindavan even for a moment. The Vrindavana Vasis, Mother Yashoda, Krishna's friends, and Krishna's conjugal lovers, the younger gopis with whom he dances, have very intimate relationship with Krishna. And if one follows in the footstep of these devotees, Krishna is available. Although the Nitya Siddha expansion of Krishna always remains with Krishna, if those engaged in sadhana siddhi follow in the footstep of Krishna's Nitya Siddha associates, such sadhana siddhas also can easily attain Krishna without difficulty. But there are those who are attached to bodily concepts of life. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, for example, have very prestigious positions, and thus they have the sense of being very exalted Ishvaras. In other words, because Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are guna avataras and have exalted positions, they have some small sense of being like Krishna. But the pure devotees who inhabited Vrindavana do not possess any bodily conception. They are fully dedicated to the service of the Lord in sublime affection, prema. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore recommended Premapum Artham Mahan. The highest perfection of life is prema, pure love in relationship with Krishna. And Mother Yashoda appears to be the topmost of devotees who have attained this perfection. Thank you, Guru.
Thank you so much, Dayasindu Prabhuji. In mundane sense, religiosity is known as Chatur Purushartha. Chatur means 4, and Purushartha means the people who put in effort. So these are dharma, mundane religiosity, artha, accumulating wealth, and then after that, accumulation of wealth through economic development, karma, fulfilling of desires. And when ultimately one becomes frustrated trying to fulfill their desires, remaining devout of Krishna consciousness, and that is no-brainer because we are spirit souls, we are related to Krishna, and unless and until we connect with Krishna, no matter how much wealth we have, no matter how much facilities we have, we can't remain happy. Therefore, we see high suicide rates amongst people, especially who are wealthy, because despite having everything at their disposal, they are not happy at the level of spirit. So these Chatur Purusharthas, ultimately, after having all the wealth and fulfilling of desires, still unsatisfaction is there, and therefore being frustrated, they desire liberation. Now, this liberation is not for Krishna. This liberation is for themselves. Therefore, this is considered, this Chatur Purushartha is considered at mundane level. The real spirituality starts when one appreciates Pancha Purushartham, which is the fifth Purushartha. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes that as Prema Pumartho Mahan. What is this Purushartha? This Purushartha is Aradhaye Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayas. Firstly, that the worship of Krishna, who is the Vrajesha, the controller of Brajavashis. Tadadhamam Vrindavanam, and worship and saving of his Dhamma, Vrindavanam. Ramya Kvachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena va Kalpita. And the most exalted devotees of Krishna, the Vrajavadhus, who gave themselves to Krishna without any consideration of society and what everyone else would say. What is the proof of all this? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the divine scripture which is the proof, the evidence that these are the topmost aspects of devotional service. And what is the reward of this? Prema Pumartho Mahan. The result of this is anyone who follows in the footsteps of damsels of Raja, as stated by Srila Prabhupada in this purport, they will get love of Krishna. And that love of Krishna satisfies the greatest of greatest urges of a living entity. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam. This is the opinion and the conclusion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there are no greater principles apart from this. This is the highest tattva, Prem Pumartho Mahan. Therefore, when one has love for Krishna, then automatically that person is liberated, as we discussed yesterday. But that liberation has a special connotation, which is not just mukti, it is vimukti. Vimukti means Vishesh Mukti, which is a byproduct of pure devotional service, where mukti is derided, as we pray in Damodar Ashtakam. Iti drikswalila vit ananda kunde svagosha nimajjantam makhyatvayantam tadiye shitagneshu bhaktirjitatvam puna prematastam shatavriti vande. Tatiye shitagnesu bhaktirjitatvam. Just by pure devotional service, Krishna is won over. And the conception of liberation and mundane religiosity is completely derided. And the devotee doesn't desire for anything else, because just by seeing Krishna face to face, all his desires are automatically fulfilled. Rukmini Devi therefore says that Rupam Trisham Drishimatam Akilarthalabham. We have to have faith in this statement, that when we see Krishna face to face, Rupam Drisham Drishimatam, what will happen when we see Krishna face to face? Akilarthalabham. We will gain everything in this world. Akhila means everything, and labham means gain. There is nothing more to be gained apart from seeing Krishna face to face. We will gain everything automatically. If we just have simple faith that by doing pure devotional service, Krishna will manifest in our hearts and we will be able to see Krishna face to face. This is what Krishna says directly. Pratyaksha agamam dharmam. He will be able to be experienced directly. And this process is susukham kartum avyayam. It is joyfully and everlastingly performed. So let us not be confused, or let us not become victimized by other allurements that, oh, this demigod I have to worship, that demigod, I have been worshiping for so many years, I have to do that. You may have done that, but the real test of faith is when our devotional service is ananya. Ananya means not anya. Anya means others. When we put prefix a in front of ananya, then it becomes not others, but Krishna, without any deviation. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana par upasate. Those janaha in this mood, ananya, not meditating or investing their focus on anyone else, but only Krishna, do devotional service, then what does Krishna do? Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Then Krishna preserves what the devotee has, and Krishna carries what the devotees lack. So in devotional service, Prabhus and Matajis, actually our Guru Maharaj used to say there is no lacking. A devotee whose intent and purpose is pure, is to only satisfy Krishna, that devotee has no lacking. And we see example of Srila Prabhupada in front of our eyes. I mean, just with 40 rupees, he went to America. And what is there in this world that he did not achieve? He achieved everything, but the purpose behind his endeavor was to please his Guru Maharaj and please Krishna. So similarly, if we have our focus in pleasing spiritual master and pleasing Krishna, then what is there for us to achieve and what remains for us to achieve? Let's go to the next verse. Krishnastu grihakrite krityeshu vyagrayam mataram prabhu matari prabhu adrakshid arjuno purvam guyako dhanaatmajo. Translation. While Mother Yashoda was very busy with household affairs, the Supreme Lord Krishna observed twin trees known as Yamala Arjuna, which in former millennium had been the demigod sons of Kubera. So now Mother Yashoda has successfully tied Krishna by her determined endeavor. Krishna's mercy, Kripa Shakti flowed, and Krishna himself, Drishtva Parishramam Krishna, Kripaya Seet Swabandhane, he himself agreed to be bound. And Mother Yashoda then could attend to other household affairs, being satisfied that this boy will not create any more havoc and disturbance. It was a day of Deepavali. A lot of work was to be done. As we know, Deepavali is approaching. There will be a lot of seva to be done, a lot of work to be done. So similarly, in that mood, Mother Yashoda enters the house. Now, the Acharyas comment that even though Krishna is tied now, he looks at the two trees in courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and these trees are known as Yamala Arjuna trees. And these are very, very big, gigantic, huge trees, and its roots are very deep rooted. Radha Govind Maharaj in his lecture was mentioning that in Mauritius especially, there are so many trees, these Yamala Arjuna trees. And Mauritius is known to be victimized by constant cyclones, which are very harsh, and they have gale force winds, which uproots even the buildings and houses. But still, these Yamala Arjuna trees, they remain fixed in the ground. They are so strong. And these formerly were the children of Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods. So when we look at the word to word, here we see Krishna's too. In the meantime, Griha Krityeshu, in the engagement in the household affairs, so Mother Yashoda went for Griha Krityeshu, Vyagrayam, and became very busy. Matari, when his mother. However, Prabhu, the Lord, so even though the Lord is tied, the Lord still remains independent. He's still Prabhu, he's still the master. There's no lacking in him. Rather, he was tied, his position became exalted because he, becoming Vrityavashyata, subservient to his devotees, is an ornament. Adrakshit. Krishna observed very carefully. Adrakshit. What did he observe? Arjuna, the twin Arjuna trees, Purvam, before him, Gu, Yako, which in the former millennium had been demigods, Dhana, Atmajo, the sons of Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods. So Dhana, of course, we know means wealth, and Atmajo means son. So the sons of the Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods. So will be now entering, the next few chapters. The next chapter, which will be the next episode of this Damodar Leela, where we learn the history of these two sons of Kuvera. Verse number 23. Pura Narada Shapena Vrikshatam Prapito Madad Nalakuvera Mani Grivao Iti Kyato Shriyan Vito. Translation. In their former birth, these two sons, known as Nalakuvera and Manigriva, were extremely opulent and fortunate. But because of pride and false prestige, they did not care about anyone, and thus Narada Muni cursed them to become trees. Word to word. Pura, formerly, Narada Shapena, being cursed by Narada Muni. Now, we don't see Narada Muni actually curse much. So when Narada Muni has cursed, it must be something very big or significant, and we'll come to know of that in the later chapter. What did he curse them to be? Vrikshatam, the form of trees. Vriksha means trees. Prapito, they obtain the form of trees. Madat, because of madness. Now, mother in Sanskrit has few meanings. Mother means pride or false prestige. Mother also means intoxication. So there is intoxication, which of pride and prestige. And of course, as we study in the chapter, there's intoxication of wealth. So one who has too much wealth, as these two had, because they are Dhana Atmajo, they are spoiled brat children of rich parents. And so they have no care for any living entity, especially sages like Narada Muni. And they committed a great offense. So these two were madat because of badness. Adi Shankara very nicely says, Ma kuru dhana jana yovan garvam harati nimesha kalaha sarvam. Don't be proud of your wealth, of your youth, of your associates, because harati nimesha kala sarvam. In no time at all this, the time factor will take away. Krishna is the time factor, and in form of time factor, he makes everything we have into zero, shunya. However, if we have Krishna, then all these other things have meaning. And if we have Krishna, then Krishna will give us that humility to accept these things in order to serve him, use it, utilize it in his service. Iti kyato Shriyan Vito. So thus Kyato, well known, Shriya Anvito, very opulent. Opulence gives pride, and pride makes us fall. So let's look forward to tomorrow's class. Happy Ekadashi again. Have a blissful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mataji's.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you so much.